Hello everyone, and welcome to the March 2018 session of the Southern Fried DNN User Group. We are excited tonight. We have some guests in the house and on screen with us. We're going to run through a lot of interesting, fun information. As usual, everything is DNN focused about how we can all help each other make awesome DNN sites even better. This week, we are proud to host Kelli Wethererell-Kropko. She is going to be talking tonight to us about RazorCart from Smith Consulting. You might be more familiar with SmithCart as a product name. We're going to get into that and talk a lot of details. Kelli, go ahead and say hi.
Thanks for having me.
So we'll jump into some introductions in a moment, but as the structure of our session goes, we're going to begin with a little bit of sponsor recognition and community buzz and announcements, and then we will come right back over to Kelli and talk RazorCart. I was out in the last meeting, so I know you guys talked a good bit about a recap of DNN Summit for sure. That was a lot of fun. Obviously, we all connected with a lot of folks in the community there. Did we have any things to mention out of DNN Summit or recap from that?
DNN Summit video that was live the next morning.
It absolutely was.
Crazy how that happened. It's awesome.
Magically fell out.
You know, Clint, I'd want you to be at future events and not miss them, but you know,
excuses.
It felt like you were there. You were doing so much stuff, and you were knocking out things, and every few minutes there was something popping up that Clint had done. So.
Hopefully you were in a bus going up the mountain and you got your DNN Digest on the way and then you saw the video. That was what we hoped would happen.
Well, so from other community things that are going on now, I just pulled up a couple of screens that I'm going to run through. As we do with all meetings, we'll post the links to the different items in our recap when we post the video for tonight's session as well. But just a couple of days ago, there was a blog post in the community for the Technology Ecosystem Advisory Group. Clint, do you want to mention a couple of things about that and maybe mention about the videos in case folks don't realize that they're always available now?
Yeah, so the DNN Technology Advisory Group is one of 4 ecosystem advisory groups, and this group has elected to post their meetings publicly so that everyone, I think people have asked the question, well, what goes on in the meetings? What progress is being made? And in this meeting, it was the first meeting that we published, and it also happened to be when Andrew Heffling demoed his proof of concept for the Razor pages, you know, like path forward, if you will. So if you're into kind of like what's one potential avenue the technology group is considering, that blog and that video would you know, give you information on it. So we are currently meeting once per week in the technology group, simply because it's kind of more of a pressing issue than the other groups, and so we'll continue to be posting those videos.
We also had another post, again, in the community blog, which is really picked up with a lot more items more regularly or more frequently from a wider variety of people. So there's improvement on every metric that I could imagine there. But we had a post about PolyDeploy, which we got a little bit of an introduction to at DNN Summit, but there was a post about that.
Yeah, I, for one, hope PolyDeploy makes it into the core.
It would be epic.
It would be good.
So Canteras is the producer for that. We met and talked to them a little bit at DNN Summit. But if you're not familiar, the point of this is it's a replacement for the standard rollout for modules in DNN when you're installing, and replaces some of the concerns that you have with using that. We were in security meetings talking about it heavily, but there are plenty of other benefits as well. Let's see. The next one up here we have. Oh, this one I actually didn't have a chance to catch up on enough myself yet. What's COI? What are we talking about here?
So COI, and David can add insight into this, as I understand it. So Daniel Mettler and the Too Sexy team have released this, and the whole notion is, let's say you have a theme that loads, I don't know, jQuery, and then you have a module that also may load jQuery or Foundation or some other CSS framework. But essentially, it's trying to make it where the theme and the module A won't like clash and have any issues there, but where a skin can like register and say, hey, I'm using this
version or this
the CSS framework. That way BNN is aware. And so, the only way that would become beneficial is if it gets widely adopted by everyone, because if not, then, you'll have modules that won't, work well with skins or whatever. But for a theme developer, it's pretty simple. You just include, I think, one line of JavaScript or something like that.
That's a JSON file that indicates what CSS framework you're using.
Yes.
And then from a module development standpoint, the theme essentially is broadcasting what framework it's using, so the module developer can write their code
to look for it before
well, not even that. They can control any UI elements in a programmatic way using a particular syntax that Koi employs, and it says when it's Foundation or one of the supported frameworks of Koi, it will display this way. When it's Bootstrap, it is this way. So that way their extensions can work in any theme that employs Koi.
It should, in the long run, make for a better overall looking website if people adopt it. But if you look on the Koi website, like it can be used in more than just BNN.
Right. All right. Few other releases and a few other things that did have new information here this week. NV QuickSite had a new version out, right, David?
That's right. That we launched version 1.2.0. Just a couple of highlights of that. You can now see what version of NV QuickSite you're actually running via the UI, so that's a nice small feature in there. It also tells you when there's an update available. So moving forward, when any future release comes out and you're still running the old release, it will alert you that there is an update available so that you can install that update. There are a few really annoying bugs that have been in there, and if you've used it and you've seen this, something about folder permissions or user identity issues because of the database you're running or whatever, now those issues are, we believe, completely solved thanks to community pull requests from someone that was able to fix those issues. So thank you so much to them. And then also you may see some updated branding on the app itself. That's in there. We updated some the links down at the bottom to be more helpful to people, as well as, let's see, a few other little bug things, but all in all, we're real excited about the changes and good feedback so far.
I was going to actually mention that if you didn't bring it up, that back at DNN Summit, you announced that it's open source and that you're encouraging pull requests from GitHub and participation. And I was going to ask you how that had gone, if you had some good participation. I knew some people were talking about it. So,
yeah, we have quite a bit of conversation going on out there about that, and it's good to actually get real pull requests instead of just issues submitted. We love knowing about the issues. That helps people that are involved. That's cool. But it's really nice to see real code being submitted and people getting involved. So it makes it better for everybody.
Now, I didn't pay attention if there was anything new. Anything new with NV Quick Thing?
There is. If you do clone the repository right now, you will in essence get a new version of NV Quick Theme, which has a few things in it related to the Bootstrap support and some things like that. A few little minor changes to it, which you can see. They're all tracked in the GitHub project that's there, so you can kind of see what's changed there. But we haven't actually put another release package out there yet, because we want to do a few more things before we do the official release.
And we haven't announced when we're going to have an NV Quick Theme walkthrough, and I would say Google Page Speed Challenge, but that should be ahead. Maybe, let's see here, March, April, maybe in May we could spend a little bit of time doing that if we don't do it before then.
Sounds like fun.
So I will make sure I twist your arm for that. DNN Connect is still coming up. I'm not going to be heading over to Ireland, although I'd love to. Clint, David, you guys are going? No? Yes?
Yep.
I'm supposedly going to speak.
Okay.
But we'll say, yeah, no, I'm planning on it. I got to book my flight, and I got to check with my interpreter and see if they can go.
I will say that the call for speakers is still out. We're a little bit light on the session side of things right now. So if you're on the fence about it and thinking about it, please go ahead and submit your session because we need to fill some slots there. Already some good sessions that have been submitted, but we could use some more. And it's looking good so far. The venue is great.
I'll put out an invitation for sponsorship. If someone wants to help me get out there, I'll speak. All right.
Me too.
Okay, so
it's less expensive than you might think it is. Let me just put another little plug in here.
Yeah.
One key differentiator between the U.S.-based conferences and the DNN Connect conferences that DNN Connect conference is an all-inclusive type proposition. So when you pay the registration fee, which is right now we're past the early bird period, but I think it's like 400 euros. That's an all-inclusive. All your food, your beverages, lodging, all of that's included, for the entire time. That's hard to beat.
The fact that lodging is covered, that's really hard to beat right there.
Now, it's not the Ritz-Carlton or anything like that, but it'll be great. And it's set up to be more communal anyways, just more social, friendly kind of experience, and not quite so,
convention stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And then flights. You may be surprised, but I mean, they're not as expensive as you might think. From here, I think I'm seeing fees around $650-ish round trip to Dublin, and you can also go into Shannon, which is a little bit closer to the event. But if you do fly into Dublin, you can get there. I think it's like a 2-hour or 2.5-hour bus trip from there, so it's not that bad.
Could end up being exactly the same or cheaper than what we did
for a Star Wars geek. I mean, come on, we're right in the area where Star Wars was filmed.
Look at that! Look at that! I think you're gonna get him. I think he's gonna fold on that.
And if you're a Game of Thrones fan, you can go up into Northern Ireland and see where all of that was filmed. So there you go.
And if then it would be 3 villages.
Good point. Yeah.
We should move on before it gets dangerous.
I know flights for me were like 800 and something, and I'm like, not this year.
This is rough. Well, so I normally mention the next meeting at the end of the meeting, and I will again, but Clint mentioned one of the parts, so I want to make sure I put in a plug for our next Southern Friday meeting as well. Because we have a 2-part set of speakers in April, because we're going to have Andrew Heffling coming in to talk about that Razor Pages approach to transitioning modules from the current way they're being produced over to the .NET Core. And there's a lot of excitement about that when he was just spitballing ideas and talking about ideas at the DNN Summit. I didn't get a chance to see this more recent presentation, but we're going to go into its deep dive in April, and at that point it'll be a month further on. So I'm really excited about seeing that. We're also going to have Mike Smeltzer in to show us DNN Shine. And let's see, I did bring up a couple of pages here. Andrews was loading his personal blog. No visuals there really. But DNN Shine is a new control panel replacement that is being produced, and he's reached out to us a little while ago, excited to show us what's in place. If you've been to the website, the demo is a teaser at the moment. You click the button and it's coming soon. It's not online yet. So next month we'll have our first chance to take a look at that, and he'll be doing our second half of the meeting. So please make sure to join us for that as well next month. But
you forgot one thing.
What did I forget?
Hello. Addison Oliveira has opened up a user group.
I need to mention this. Ooh, that was loud. Sorry.
Hello.
Addison Oliveira has opened a DNN user group in Canada, and this is brand new. And the approach that I've seen so far is that he's asking people to connect up with him and begin conversation. He's still going to work out when they're meeting and how and other kinds of details, but it's going to start with is the community participation. So if you're joining us here, I think I'd love to see you join us over there too, at least to get him started with a good participation, especially if he's starting out online.
He used to have a pretty active group, I think, right? I mean, up there in the Toronto area?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't realize that from before.
One thing that I will say is, so like the Toronto area, it says GTADUG on Twitter, but my point is, Addison was talking about emailing any DNN users in the Toronto area, and so we, as DNN Corp, sent an email blast to all of the DNN users that we were aware of that are in the Toronto area.
Nice.
So some people might not think that DNN Corp did that, but we did. So
we should probably do that for our area here. Right?
we probably should.
All right. Well, so make sure to connect on that and find out where you can connect with him. I thought it was Meetup, and I tried to type it in real quick, but we'll post the links in the meeting recap. But to go ahead and get into the main information for the evening, we are learning about RazorCart, and I'll put on the hat there and point that out. I think Clint's doing the same there. We got some.
David, where's your hat?
He should have brought it. Yes.
Sorry, I can't hear you, Kelly. Could you repeat that?
So we're going to talk about RazorCart. I know as a DNN integrator, we've used TADUG. Sorry about that. Sorry, distraction-wise. Clint was turning around his screen, and it's TADUG is the new user group. Toronto area. TADUG. So I apologize. Let me start again. We're going to be talking about RazorCart as a new e-commerce option for you to choose when you're considering e-commerce systems for DNN, but there's nothing, this isn't an entirely brand new release from someone we've never heard from before. This is Smith Consulting, and as a DNN integrator working with DNN since well before 2011, SmithCart is one of the well-established, well-known e-commerce systems that's out there that we've used time and again in my own company, and it's one of the regularly consistent top-selling e-commerce systems that you can find on the DNN store. Kelli connected with us at DNN Summit. I think this was the first one that I at least met her at, and she was a blast to hang out with and to talk some details about. And I'll share one short story, and then Kelli, I'll pass it over to you. But when we met at one of the mixtures, DNN After Dark, I think, I explained that Dustin, my partner in the business, he was going to flip out when we started talking RazorCart and we started talking things, because SmithCart was one of the best database structures that he'd ever seen as far as integration with DNN and the way DNN database structure is for users and certain types of things. And I said, Dustin is going to flip out when I mention that we're now talking with the Smith Consulting folks. And I grabbed Dustin by the elbow and I brought him over. And I said, hey, Dustin, here we go. We're talking with SmithCart folks, Smith Consulting. And he says, oh, yeah, it's a great store system. And nothing. He's quiet for a minute. And I look over and I'm thinking, oh, man, I kind of thought, and then it just clicked, and he goes, oh my God, I love your database. It is the best thing ever. Did you know that people sometimes make GUIDs as primary keys? And then it was on from there. Oh my God, GUIDs as primary keys? Who can do that? I know you can't even sort them. Why would you even have an index? An index on a primary key as a GUID? It doesn't even make any sense. But everything in that store system is good. I know, and SmithCart is like this and this. And that was it. For about 10 minutes, it was a nuclear explosion of... it was so much fun to see, and so I'm glad to, in a more calm way, sit down and have some conversations here with you. Kelli, what we're going to do is pass over...
Dustin?
Are you insinuating Dustin gets excited sometimes?
Sometimes he doesn't rant. Sometimes he has a fan, flame out, getting super excited. Yeah, Dustin would like to be here tonight. He traveled for a concert tonight, so he's been out of town for a couple of days now. Okay, so Kelli, we're going to go ahead and switch over and go to your screen so we can see what you've got. I'll let you kind of introduce from there, but my explanation is that building on the years of experience that Smith Consulting has in not only the e-commerce field and DNN experience, but with the system, with the module of Smith Cart, there's a tremendous amount of experience and legacy value that is coming forward into RazorCart, and so we're excited to learn more about it here tonight.
Great. So let me. Y'all can see my screen?
Yes. Perfecto.
Okay, so just a quick background. We have been in the DNN space since 2005 developing e-commerce modules. We have a registration module, and then we have Smith Cart, which everybody knows and everybody loves. And the thing about Smith Cart is that it is a great shopping cart. It's very robust, very powerful, but it's built using old technology. So we kind of came to a point where we said, okay, we have this web form shopping cart. Are we going to completely rebuild it, or are we going to do something different? And we elected to do something different, and that has led us to RazorCart. You guys are technical, so you know Razor's a technology. We built RazorCart to be extensible using MVC. It has view sets where you can inject Angular and C# code, so you can do anything that you want with it without needing the source code. And that was something with Smith Cart that we faced a lot. We have a lot of customers who are developers, but we also have a lot of customers that are not developers. And at the end of the day, we are a consulting company, and we were building customizations into the core of Smith Cart from 2005, 2006, all the way up through 2017. And a lot of those features, you know, were really specific to maybe one or two businesses and didn't necessarily need to be built into the core, and it kind of got bogged down and it kind of got slow, and that's why we made the decision to build something from scratch. My developers are phenomenal. We built RazorCart all in-house with people that I see every single day. If there's ever any issue with it, it's literally a walk down the hall in our office. So it's nice. It's nice to have that kind of quality control where we built it, and we're also really proud of it because, I mean, Smith Cart was great. Smith Cart and RazorCart, I guess, combined, we are actually the #2 best-selling shopping cart in units all-time on DNN Store, and that doesn't include anything that we previously sold on our own website. Right now we're exclusively selling through the DNN Store, but I mean, we have a lot of active users, so it's really cool to see that grow and to work with developers who can extend it themselves, and also to work with people who need us to do extensions for them.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all can see my screen, right? I already asked that, huh?
Yes, we're good.
I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, doing well.
Thanks. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show is just the front end. So this is just a DNN 9 site. It's got a skin installed. This is our product slider for RazorCart. RazorCart has a number of extensions that are available to go ahead and increase functionality. So the slider is one of them. The products have a flag on the back end that you can check, and then they'll display this kind of way. So this is the product listing page, and this is just how it looks out of the box. The good thing is that it's templatable with view sets, so if you have a client that needs it to look a certain way or function a certain way, it's pretty easy to accomplish that. But I mean, it's your standard store. We have the mini cart, we have the categories, and several different ways to display both of those. We use toaster notifications, so this product is out of stock, so you'll see an out of stock message. RazorCart does have full inventory control, and it's also integrated, it has available API calls so that you could integrate it with your ERP system. So if you want to manage your inventory in one place, you can have it synced.
What other kinds of things come up in those toaster notifications?
I'm sorry, what?
I said, what other kinds of things come up in those toaster notifications?
So when something, oh, this one's out of stock. So when something is successfully added to stock, it's the same thing. If you update your quantity in the cart, I'll show you guys it's the same thing. Okay, yeah, here we go. So successfully added to cart. So I'm just going to go ahead and go to the product details page, just so you guys can see it. So we have tab view, we have available review tab. We have the ability to moderate reviews so that if you have somebody who doesn't like your product and maybe has some expletives or anything, that can sit there over the weekend and not be public on your store until you can approve it. I'm going to go ahead and just, take you guys to the shopping cart. So we have a single page checkout. So I can update the quantity. The cart was updated successfully, another toaster notification. We have the ability, I'm logged in, so all my information populated, but we have the ability to copy, the shipping details to the billing details. And again, it is a single page checkout, which is nice.
Yeah.
Advanced search is another extension for RazorCart. You have the ability to search by keywords, price ranges, and also to save searches. So if you are a logged in user, you can save a search and come back to it at a later time. So on our demo site, and this is a publicly available demo site, if you access it from the DNN store from our vendor page, we have a link to this demo, so you can play around with it yourself as well. So, it's a search. I'll show you guys in the product setup screen, you have the ability to enter search terms that maybe don't come up in the product name or the description at the product level. So common misspellings or competitor information, those are things that if somebody's searching for them, you can choose which products to show on your site. And
so those are entered in as details for the product, as in additional keywords or hidden keywords for products? Nice.
Yeah, I'll show you guys on the back end, but yes. And then, again, I have a saved search. I just searched for a sink. I love this faucet so much. What was that?
That's the one I just put in my cart because I liked it so much.
Yeah, it's nice. It actually comes in rose gold, if you were curious.
Nice.
Another really cool extension, we do have a handful, so I'm highlighting the best ones. Another really cool extension for RazorCart is going to be our quick order extension. This is commonly used for like a sales rep or maybe an admin who's placing orders on behalf of others and doesn't need to navigate the catalog. They don't need to see all the images. They don't need to go to the product details page. They're ordering in bulk. They know what they're ordering. So you can search by SKU or product name. So I'm just going to copy in a SKU and add, 2 to my cart if they're in stock.
Does it show pricing or information about it if you've gotten it correct or gotten it wrong, or is it more like a search that it performs?
No, so it doesn't show pricing until you come to the cart. So once you click add to cart, it takes you straight to the cart. So I'll go back to it. Just you have the ability to add as many lines as you want. So if you're purchasing 100 of 100 things, you just type in the SKUs, add to cart, and that's it. When you're in the cart, I'll add another one. I should have 3 at the end of this. When you're in the cart, then it'll show you the total that you have added, and it'll show you the pricing. You can say, oh, I didn't mean to add that, and,
Right.
We've got another toaster notification for you.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, so those are 3 of the more commonly used extensions. We also have a booking extension, which can be used for reserving rooms or booking equipment. We've seen it used a few different ways. So I have just a very simple demo of booking here. I mean, I could talk about booking by itself for a couple hours, so we could always schedule another demo to go over booking. But the ability to have a start date and an end date and a start time and an end time. And we're actually doing a lot of customizations to our booking system right now, so expect a new release on the booking extension pretty soon with some added features such as 15-minute booking time increments and max allowable time. So if you can only book something for a 3-hour maximum, you have the ability to enter that on the admin as well. So that should all be coming out soon, an update to our booking system. But like I said, it can be used, we have like a bed and breakfast that uses our booking system. We have people booking courses or classes. We have equipment rentals.
Yeah, I might like to have you come back and talk about that another couple months down the line, because booking things I haven't always connected with e-commerce. They have e-commerce tied to them sometimes, but to have it built in as a separate module or separate extended item you have, I think I'd like to see more about that.
It's kind of cool because I mean,
like, further along.
If you had experience with Catalog, they had that concept built in.
100%. Yep.
You know,
yep.
But it's good to see a modern experience.
And there are a couple of other just standalone booking modules that have aged, as in they haven't been updated since. Yeah. And I'm aware of a few clients of mine who say, well, we're still using this ancient thing. We'd like to have something new.
Yeah.
So sorry, that's a sidebar there, Kelly, but I'd like for you to show us more about booking later on.
I would love to come back and talk about booking with you guys anytime.
Good deal.
Though, I might, you know, one of these times I'm going to come out and visit in person, I think.
We'll put you up.
On the way to Ireland.
On the way to Ireland, okay.
Yeah,
hey,
yeah, okay.
Dashboard, that's sharp.
So, for those of you who are familiar with the SmithCart admin menu, it was old school. It was Tellerant controls, it was drop-down menus. Yep. It did its job and it did it well, but it needed an update. So here we are. This is the new RazorCart admin console. So the dashboard here, it shows you orders. All of these order statuses up here are customizable. So maybe if you're not selling physical products or products that you're shipping out, you have the ability to customize the order statuses that display. It'll show you your revenue statistics. Obviously, this is a demo site, so we're all over the place. And then down here, it's going to show you your top 5 best-selling products.
Nice.
Which is a cool metric. Another interesting thing about RazorCart is that it's fully responsive out of the box. You know, we use Bootstrap. It's very clean. This dashboard is also responsive out of the box. So you can check your store from your phone, on the go, and see how you're performing.
So you're saying that your checkout screens that we were looking at a minute ago, those are fully responsive out of the box?
Fully responsive out of the box.
What a novel idea.
Okay, so store setup is exactly what you would expect it to be. You know, your address, zip code, your email configuration. I mean, it's exactly what you would want it to be. We have, you know, a few extra settings in here, like if you don't want to get the emails on declined payment, showing and hiding fields, custom fields, special instructions. So if you are, you know, shipping gifts to people and you want them to be able to enter a gift message, we have that functionality. We have user-entered amounts for donations. I know that I briefly talked about this with you guys, but we have the ability to use RazorCart for donations via user-entered amounts. So if you, if somebody wanted to enter $5 for a product and if somebody wanted to enter $500 for a product, we have that functionality. Customer registration is a big one. We actually spent a lot of time on this design to make sure that we had it right. But allowing guest checkout or allowing registration during checkout. So allowing users to register for the DNN site during checkout. Completely seamless. It doesn't make sense to have, you know, one login for your shopping cart and one login for your website. So we did spend a little bit of time on that and make sure we were doing it right. It works really well. The guest checkout's beautiful. If you're using a guest checkout, if you need to log in, then we have that ability as well. Disable inventory management. If you're selling digital downloads and you're never going to run out, you have that ability. Disable user profile sync. So, you know, if they enter a new address in checkout and you don't want to update their user account, you have that ability. Wish list and save carts we have, and then Google eCommerce Analytics we're fully integrated with.
Google eCommerce Analytics. Okay, got it.
Yeah, we have in our help desk, I don't know if you guys have seen our help desk or not. I'll pop it open. It's fully searchable, so Google eCommerce Analytics. So we have a knowledge base on our website. It's completely free. You have the ability to search it for any questions you might have on how to set up our product. And then we also have a help desk system. We're always, you know, happy to help with that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Payment setup. So this is, it's still really straightforward. So RazorCart comes out of the box with 2 payment gateways. Out of the box, we're integrated with Authorize.net and we're integrated with PayPal Standard. We offer extensions for additional payment gateways. So this is something with SmithCart we built in over 55 payment gateways. And it just kind of slowed it down. Why do you need the ability to integrate with 50 payment gateways if you're going to be using one? So we have extensions on our site and on the DNN store for additional payment gateways, such as PayPal Express, PayPal Payflow Pro, PayPal Braintree. PayPal has like 100 different PayPals.
Yeah.
But we also have eWay and WorldPay and
yeah, there are dozens and dozens that we could all start thinking of and naming, and that's one of the strengths that I was going to mention at one point in questions, that SmithCart had so many different integrations present. So what you're saying is that you have most of them, and if you don't, you can also build for people who need something special, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Straw was what we were asking about? Stripe. Sorry, Stripe.
Yes, we have Stripe and Square also.
Mm-hmm.
And those ones were not in SmithCart, so those ones are new.
Apple Pay?
Not yet.
Yeah. I mean, the answer to that.
All right.
You're just trying to stump me. I got you.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, so payment processing is, it's pretty straightforward. Again, you know, you can choose which credit cards you want to accept. If you don't want to accept one, you have that ability. Do not save credit cards. If you are processing on a non-PCI compliant environment, you're going to need to not save the credit card number. RazorCart also has built-in recurring billing or the option to use the payment gateway recurring billing. We use a scheduler for that as well. So, you know, it's e-commerce.
Yeah, and that's good to know, too, thinking about someone like Authorize.net. Depending on the client, their Authorize.net account might not allow for Authorize.net recurring payments, and therefore you have to use the recurring payments out of RazorCart instead to run and process that. So that's a good thing to know. Right.
So shipping, we have every way anybody could ever want to ship anything. So we are integrated with the 3 major shipping calculators, which is UPS, USPS, and FedEx. We have shipping by product quantity, shipping by weight. I mean, I could read the list off, but we have the ability to set product level shipping, so if each product is going to have a different shipping cost, we have that. And then we're also integrated with ShipWorks, and if you're not familiar with ShipWorks, ShipWorks is a program that allows you to print your shipping labels directly from your e-commerce store. So if you know you're shipping yourself and you're not using a fulfillment service or a warehouse, you have the ability to print all of your shipping labels through that integration as well. Handling. There's only so many ways you can handle a package. Charge it, don't charge it, or, you know, I mean, that's really it. That's all. Tax is the same thing. Any way that you need to configure tax, we have available. So we support international tax as well as flat tax, no tax, and then we have an integration with zip to tax. We also have the ability to tax by tax table, which would be importing your state's tax table and charging according to that. I think it goes by postal code.
Is the service from Zip to Tax similar to Avalara in that it's a service that's going to help run and monitor those things for you, or is that simply an external lookup of those state-based tax tables?
I believe it's similar to Avalara, and I know SmithCart had an Avalara integration, so probably could do the same thing for RazorCart.
It's coming, or it's around the corner, maybe?
Yeah, there are so many features, and you know, it's important to pick and choose which ones still need to be added. It's a new product. It's been out for about a year, so I think continuing to add them, yes, and you know, continuing to do custom projects for clients as well. So if you want something that we don't have, we'll build it for you, and it's really simple. Again, tax shipping or don't tax shipping, tax handling. So templates, I'm going to skip over view sets really quick, and I'm going to do email and invoice first because they're more simple. You add an email template. We have email templates for when an order is purchased, email templates when an order is shipped, and I'll get to the order shipping a little bit later. Email template for recurring billing, so if you are using the RazorCart recurring billing and you want to generate an email every month, kind of like a receipt, you have the ability to do that. And then product review, if a user submits a review and you want it to get sent to the admin for moderation, you can do that as well. So email templates are really basic, HTML. We use tokens here, so these tokens are dynamic. They'll populate the correct information based on the order number. Invoice template, it's going to be the same idea. We have a user and an admin for the email, but for invoice, it's, you know, there's one invoice template, and this is what, if you're printing the order from the dashboard where we just were, this is how it will print. And again, it uses the tokens, the ability to update this in HTML.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're going to touch on view sets, and full disclaimer, I'm not a programmer. We'd love to set up another session if you guys want to comb through all the programming, but I'm going to do my best. So you can copy a view set, and then you can edit a view set. This is the ability to use C# and AngularJS in order to insert your own code, either to style it or to add logic. So you have the ability to do both without source code. This is available in every version of our module. So I'm going to go back and just show you the different views. So we have a view for every module.
Yep.
And that goes with the extensions as well, like the slider, the advanced search, and the quick order. Just a note, I don't know if I was clear earlier, RazorCart does have built-in search functionality, and you don't have to use the advanced search extension. It just adds additional functionality.
Sure.
Cool. So extensions, we talked about extensions. I have one added here, which is iContact. It's an email marketing system, very similar to Constant Contact or MailChimp, you know, same idea. So what this does is it will check your iContact, and if the email address that the customer used during checkout, if they're not on your email list, they add them to your email list.
Just to follow that thread, does it include store-related information so that then in Constant Contact, iContact, you'd be able to target all people who'd purchased more than $50 in the last month? Some of your store data goes over, or is it just sign-up related?
I believe it's just the customer record. I mean, of course, it could be extended to do more, but I believe it's just the customer record.
All right, all right.
Okay, so this one's fun and a little complicated. This is your store permission setup, and this is for the dashboard. So what we're looking at right now, it's for the admin console, my apologies. So it's for the admin console, and every pane since we started this demo can all be modified with permissions. So if you need somebody to have access to your payment information but not the rest of your settings, or someone to have access to viewing all of the orders but not have access to modifying your tax settings,
Right.
Fully integrated with DNN security roles, it's got view and delete access. So if you want someone to be able to delete orders, or you want them to be able to view orders but not delete orders, you can set all of this up here, and it's very thorough.
That's a very nice set of functions right there. I don't want that to go by without making a comment, but that's a big deal. The ability to have the store system back end so that fulfillment people can get to just the screens they need to get to, order confirmation people can get to the screens they need to get to without being able to modify an order or get to credit card information or mess up the tax stuff in your store settings. That's pretty granular in how you've made those permission controls. That's fantastic.
That's awesome.
That's
awesome. We've seen it all time and time again as implementers and developers yourselves. I'm sure you've seen it as well. Well, something on my site broke. Okay, well, who's had access to that? So if somebody's maybe logging in to check an order and they accidentally delete an additional order, or they're logging in to check an order and they accidentally delete your email templates, it could get pretty messy, who was responsible, who had access. And we just wanted it to be very easy. I mean, that was the whole idea behind RazorCart, was just to make it more user-friendly. So, yeah, we're really proud of this. This is a great set of settings, and this was not included in SmithCart. This is something that's brand new.
I agree.
Okay, so coupons. You can create coupons. You can do coupons by discount or flat amount. You can do product level coupons and variant level coupons. I mean, it's a coupon. Allow multiple coupons. I mean, it's e-commerce. I mean, I think we all have done our fair share of online shopping. Discounts are the same thing. So the ability to set up discounts at the user level or at the DNN role level. So, and that's for products and orders. The ability to give discounts only to users in a certain role. Functions as member pricing. If they're in, the registered user role, they get 10% off. If they're in the platinum role, they get 20% off.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you a question right here, hogging the mic because I have use case questions to ask you, and you're on the right screen. So you have price classes I see there. You've got product discounts by role. I can imagine those things being used together to get. Let's just imagine an ABCD type of price level. So based on users and their roles, price level A is your greatest customer, they get 40% off. B gets 20% off. Price level C gets 5% off and free shipping. Some types of levels to it. You have an ability, because you also have there, a discount by product, specific product. Do you have exception by product, as in, this price level is here, everyone's getting 50% off, except this product, this one single product, is exempt from all discounts. It cannot be discounted. Is that a possibility?
It's a possibility, so it's not a setting. What that would be a view set. If this product is in the cart, then don't apply the discount, or don't apply the discount to product ID 1. So that would be a view set change. It'd be super simple for someone like yourself to do it. Or it's not a setting, but it's definitely available.
Got it. Understood.
Anything else?
No, keep going. Sorry to interrupt your flow.
I feel like there's going to be some RazorCart in your future.
I might be making a shopping list of features that I have to have so that I can switch a project. That might be full disclosure.
May or may not be happening.
May or may not be exactly what's going on. Right.
That's totally fair. And just so you guys know, I 100% don't even mind a little bit being interrupted. I'd rather talk about it while we're on the page. So what you did was perfect, and it doesn't bother me at all. I mean, I'm not going anywhere, so.
All right.
No biggie. Okay, moving on to email campaigns. So this is something, I think that this was the last feature we added into SmithCart, and I think it was the first feature we added into RazorCart. This is really cool, you guys. Everybody sitting down. Abandoned cart marketing.
Can I interrupt with a question?
Yeah.
The editor, the HTML editor you're using there, what is that?
Couldn't tell you.
That's Telerik, older, or it's the, I mean, that's not DNN Rad, right?
No.
Yeah, I think that's Telerik.
I'm not sure.
That would be in your DNN settings yourself, as in we can help get you onto CK editor anytime. But that's not a SmithCart element. That's a RazorCart element. That's just your DNN instance in your demo.
Okay. Yeah. That's out of my wheelhouse. Okay. So abandoned cart marketing.
Nice.
Somebody leaves something in their shopping cart and you want them back. So maybe you send them an email. Maybe you say, you know, one day from now I'm going to remind them that they forgot something in your cart. You save this, it sends out in one day. The next day they still don't purchase, or maybe let's go a week. We'll go 7 days. 7 days, you can send them a coupon. You can say, you still have this item in your cart. Use this coupon to get 10% off. Yep. So I am going to jump around just a little bit because we're talking about abandoned carts and bring up the abandoned cart report, and we'll get to the rest of the reports. We actually have metrics on if your abandoned cart marketing is working, if they're using the coupon, if you won them back. Again, demo site, so it's got really, really crazy results. But we have a metric for this. So this was modeled off of another e-commerce system. Again, we wanted to be sure we were doing it the right way, and we're really proud of it. We're going to go back, though, because that was a jump. Okay, so inventory, this is what I was talking about earlier, the product setup screen. So the add product and edit product are going to look about the same, so I'm going to just go with an edit so that there's already some information in there. You'll see that this one was one of the ones for the toaster notification out of stock. It is, in fact, out of stock. The ability to add it to categories. You can add it to multiple categories. So if something is going to be in an appliance category and also a kitchen and bath category, you can do that. Images, something really cool that maybe wasn't a SmithCart feature. The ability to drag and drop images from your browser, and also to drag and drop the images so you have your featured image first. Image title and image alt tags. So we have SEO capabilities built directly into our shopping cart, so that you don't have to worry about, you know, are all of my images named the right thing to boost my search engine rankings or to be indexed properly. You can manage that directly from your image setup screen. Variants. They're called lots of different things. A lot of people call them options. If you're selling a t-shirt and you have small, medium, large, and red, green, blue, that's what we call a variant. The ability to add a variant group, which would be like size, and then add another variant group for color, and then add the variants into that as well. Something interesting that we do have with variants is we have conditional variants. So if the blue t-shirt is only available in size large, you have the ability to only show the blue option if the size large is selected. That was built a long time ago, but we have made improvements on the way that it works. And with that being said, it's really useful if you're selling custom things or have a lot of varied inventory. Booking, so we talked about this already. We'll go really briefly here. If you're booking something for 1 day, if you're booking something for 2 days. We have the ability to do time booking as well. So hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly, right? Also, check out coming out in the next month or two, we will have half-hour or 30 minutes and 15-minute booking increments as well as a maximum time duration. So we have maximum day duration, but we will also have a maximum time duration. So keep your eyes out. We'll come back and do a demo on that. SEO URL, all of your SEO tags that you need, again, for proper indexing and search engine optimization. The cool thing about our SEO URL is that's generated automatically, so it takes the product name and it strips out any spaces or special characters, so you automatically have a friendly URL. You don't have, 20% this and 20% that.
Mm-hmm.
Discounts, this is where you'd set up product level discounts, so role by product or product and quantity discounts. Related products, it's another cool thing that we have. Let me see. Oh, whoops. So you have the ability to relate products with other products, and then you can use our product slider module that I showed you guys to display the related products. Bundled products, the same thing. If you're selling web hosting and you have to pay a setup fee, you can bundle the setup fee in with the web hosting. If you're selling a skin but you have to buy a library, you can bundle the library in with the skin. Roles is an interesting one. Again, kind of granular. The ability to add a role when something is purchased or to add a role when something is added to the cart. So if somebody purchases a membership and after that membership they get 15% off of everything, well, if they have the membership in the cart and they add something else, they could still get that 15% off. If they remove the membership from the cart, then it removes the role. So we have the ability to do effective on add to cart. We have the ability not to do it. I see it used less often than more, but it's available. Removing a user from a role on add to cart or on checkout, and then showing and hiding this particular product by role. So if I don't want anybody to see this product, if they're not in the platinum role or if they're not in the gold role, then I have the ability to just check it here and hide.
Yep.
Or check it here and show. So
so just a quick question on that. So if you have an instance that has hundreds and hundreds of roles, how does that get handled? Just a really long list?
Just a really long list.
Ew.
Yeah, there are always edge case examples where you have hundreds of thousands of users or hundreds of roles instead of just a dozen roles, and sometimes those edge cases can get a little bit squirrely.
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen, I think it might be Evoke, it might be DNN9, but the roles are kind of moving to like a searchable drop-down list, so that might be something that you see us roll out in the future.
Good answer.
Search keywords. So this is what we were talking about earlier. Being able to add a search term for maybe something that's spelled wrong. If somebody searches macrowave instead of microwave, and you still want this product to come up, or I think that this is like a Whirlpool microwave, so if you like type in like Kenmore, you still want this product to come up, you have the ability to do that with these search terms. These are not displayed on the front end. Our regular RazorCart search as well as our advanced search can pull from these keywords, and these are things that you wouldn't have either in the product name or the product description. So any words that are already in the product description, they'll still be returned in the search. So this is more for competitor products, common misspellings, and things of that nature.
Makes sense.
Localization, so if you want to paste your product description in a different language, you can do that here. It goes off of the DNN localization as well, so you have that ability. And then custom fields. Whoa. So if you want a default value for your custom fields, you have the ability to do a few different displays, and all of this information gets stored if a user purchases this product. So if you need to collect custom information like we have someone using RazorCart for like an event registration. They're using custom fields for dietary restrictions. So you have the ability to do it that way. We've also seen it used for, what's it called? Amazon has this special like product number.
Yep.
Anyway, so we have somebody using it for that as well. So each product has their Amazon product number, and they're displaying that as a custom field as well. So we have the ability for all of that. Categories, again, is super straightforward. You have categories. You can add categories. You can delete categories. You can do category quantity discounts. And again, that SEO URL, the friendly URL, is automatically populated. And then you have the ability to add some additional tags here if you're really concerned with your optimization. Manufacturers is going to be, if you are shipping products from different manufacturers that have different addresses, it's going to use the manufacturer shipping address for the shipping calculator.
Very nice.
So
that allows for efficient pricing when you're doing third-party dropship.
Yes. Yes. So that's, don't know. Product reviews, so the ability to moderate product reviews, I think we discussed earlier. The ability to collect reviews and display reviews is great. You can see I've only got one approved here, but just a quick button to go ahead and approve one. So, and then you can delete them. So if somebody says, you know, a lot of terrible things or swear words or, you know, you can just delete it. So customer record. So something interesting. No, not interesting. Just something. Something. So you were talking about Ryan's love for our database, and with RazorCart, we use the same database as SmithCart. That didn't change. We did that for two reasons. One, because you know we're comfortable with the way that it's structured, we're happy with it. But two, to make it really easy for users to upgrade from SmithCart to RazorCart. With that being said, managing customers, they get stored in the Smith customer table exactly the same as you would expect and exactly how it was before. You know, the customer records, you can export them if you're exporting to CSV, or if you're using, you know, maybe a different email campaign software that we're not integrated with. Orders we talked about a little bit. We're going to talk about it a little bit more. You can sort your orders. You can filter by status. So these are our current order statuses. You can add your own using ViewFit, pay status, or payment method. The store's just set up as cash. So, you know, you could have it however. Let me do order date. Oh, hey, look, that was one of you.
That was me. I'm Jane Doe.
Yeah, David checked out with Jane Doe.
That's okay. So when you're in the Manage Order screen, you have the ability to edit the shipping details, but you don't edit the billing details. You know, because that's not exactly something you want to edit.
Right.
But you do have the ability to add additional payments. So this one's paid in full. I can change that. You can add an invoice number, the authorization code, you know, it's, I mean.
Yep.
So if I just change the payment that you made, there will be an additional payment due. And I have the ability to go in and add it this way. And it auto-populates the remaining amount due. So if you did pay a partial payment, I could do this way. You can add notes that are not displayed to the customer. So you could say this person called on this day and wanted to, you know, take this product off of their order. You can also add items to the order. So this person called on this day. I think I'm out of stock on the microwave, but this person called on this day. So if I go ahead and add an item to the order, and then I go to add a payment, it's going to populate that extra $720 that you have due, and then you can make a note of it. they called, we added another sync. Shipments is probably one of the cooler features that we have that I get excited about. The ability to add multiple shipments to an order with multiple tracking numbers. So if you buy 2 things from me and one of them is back ordered, I'm going to ship the first thing out right away, and the second thing I'm not going to ship out right away. So you can decide which product that you're going to ship. You can enter the ship carrier ship method here, as well as the tracking number. And then once you hit the ship flag and click add, the ship email is going to get sent to the customer with all of that information, such as the tracking number and the shipping carrier. Down here you can resend the order email, so that's going to, you know, if they call and they didn't get the confirmation. Or you can print the order, and that's going to use that invoice template that we were talking about earlier. So we did abandoned carts. We'll go over booking really quick. So we have this sweet booking calendar, and if you have items booked or reserved for certain days, it'll show you highlighted on the calendar which items or which products or which rooms are booked and which days they're booked for or which times they're booked for. So has a few different views. I don't have any data for that, but I'd be happy to do that later. And then sales summary, it's just going to show you, you know, by category revenue, and then if you want any custom data, then you can either query it yourself or use a view set to build yourself a nice little report. Something I didn't talk about because I'm not really qualified to talk about it, but I'm going to speak to it briefly, is that RazorCart has an action delegate pipeline. And most of you probably know what that means, but it just means that you are able to inject custom logout or custom logic into the checkout flow. So if you're needing to sync with any ERP systems or call any functions, you have the ability to do all of that using either view sets, API, or our action delegate pipeline. And again, if you go to our help desk, we have a sample project for you.
Oh, nice.
So, you know, it shows you all the different calls that you have the ability to do. So, I think that's my RazorCart demo, unless you guys have any questions.
I think that's a great run through of you know, a robust e-commerce system that seems brand new and shiny in every corner, but at the same time we know it's got Smith Consulting goodness behind the scenes. So it doesn't feel brand new. It feels like the brand newest version of updated Smith Cart, but we know it's RazorCart.
She did not tell us what the price was.
Right.
Yeah, and I've also got some questions to go. So David, I'll let you. No, David, I'll let you go first.
I was just going to ask, what is the minimum DNN version?
804.
All right. Price-wise, I was going to finish by coming back to that if Kelly didn't, but basically there's a single instance cost and then basically an unlimited cost that is unlimited domains or portals on the same DNN instance. Do you want to speak to that for a moment, Kelly?
Absolutely. So RazorCart is the same price as SmithCart.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
We didn't raise the price. We didn't. We made that decision a long time ago, and we've stuck with it. We want it to be available and accessible. So our licensing, I think we spoke about at the licensing roundtable. Our licensing is per domain. So one live domain, one TLD, and then you can also have a test portal. So you know, if you're hosting somewhere else and you need like a sandbox dot or whatever, we'll accommodate that. But it's one domain for $4.95. And then unlimited domains for 3,000 even. Might be like $29.95 now that I think about it. But unlimited domains on a single server. So single server. Doesn't have to be the same instance of DNN, just has to be the same server name.
Oh, that's a big difference. And let me ask you that, because that I didn't.
It says per server.
Either, yeah, and I'm reading that now. Either that wasn't the case in the past, or I didn't realize that was the case in the past. So I thought it was per DNN instance. You're saying that we could stand up 15 different DNN instances on the same server, and we're covered as far as the RazorCart license is concerned there.
Correct. In our license, it is a perpetual license, so you have it forever and ever. But all of our licenses come with 3 months of free upgrades.
If you have a web form, it would be different servers. That would be more licenses, right?
If you're doing an evoke instance where you have load balancing of a web farm involved and you've got 4 servers involved there, that would be 4 instances or 4 licenses, or would that be 1 because it's a web farm?
It's by server name.
Okay, 4.
So how are you handling Azure when the server names are constantly changing?
Good question.
So
Kelly might be for that.
That was a deer in the headlights look.
Yeah, Kelly might not be the right one for that.
Well, and the reason I asked that is because that's how evoke was, right? It was by the server, but then when they got into the Azure game,
they had to change.
It started throwing a bunch of issues. Who's Cody? Maybe he knows.
Okay, so Cody's new with us, and I just asked him to sit in. Welcome to Southern Fried Cody. But
Answer, Cody.
No, you guys have got this one. Come on.
Okay. So go shoot.
So we have run into that in the past with a handful of clients, and we have the ability to turn off your old server license when your new server license changes, or when your new server name changes. So it has come up. We just update your license so we know that you're not, we know that you're not circumventing the system.
It's not something you always know either.
Yeah.
So it can just randomly change, and then your site doesn't work.
She might be saying that they keep track of a set number if you've got 4 instances, and they keep changing, but as long as you don't grow to 8, it's okay or something?
Is that a programmatic change or it's a manual change?
Is it dynamic on the fly, or does a human have to get involved?
A human has to get involved.
That's not going to be.
Which is not going to work in Azure.
Well, so let me ask a couple of less technical questions.
As long as you're not hosted in the cloud, you're fine.
True, and web farm is not web farm. Azure is maybe not as much of a big footprint as some of the other established older SmithCart folks are going to be. Yeah. Kelly, some of the questions I wanted to jump into, especially out of things that you mentioned a moment ago. Migration path was going to be one of my first questions, and you mentioned it. When we were at the conference, one of the things that I also was excited about is that, and correct me where I'm wrong, this is the same database structure as SmithCart. And so you can run SmithCart and RazorCart side by side in the same DNN instance and see the same data. So that if you're training customers in how to move from one to the other and the very different look of it, you can say, look, here's what you're doing today in SmithCart. Here's the same order. Here's the same checkout screens. Now here's what they look like in RazorCart. And you're going to see the same data because it is the same database on the inside. So that is still correct, right, Kelly?
Yes. Yeah. So they use the same tables, not just the same table structure, but the same tables. So there is a store ID on the back end. So if you want to completely move everything from one to the other, we have a SQL script available in our forum. You run the SQL script and it updates the store ID, so it moves all of the data from your SmithCart to your RazorCart. We also have the ability to point the RazorCart modules to the SmithCart information if you're wanting to run them side by side and train that way. So there are 2 different ways to do it. Both are pretty seamless.
So if you were going to be migrating from a SmithCart instance to a RazorCart instance, do you need to be up to a certain version of SmithCart to then be able to move over to RazorCart, or could you jump a leapfrog a version? What's that look like?
So it mostly works. We have maybe 3 or 4 times had something come up where it's like, oh wow, you're on version 3 of SmithCart. Okay, we maybe shouldn't have recommended that. But I mean, if you're on pretty much like 7 and above, you should be totally fine. We also recommend if you're on a really old version of SmithCart, upgrade your Smith cart first. We'll provide the download package. Upgrade your Smith cart first, and then install RazorCart. Because if you're on Smith cart 5, that means you're probably on DNN 6. Probably on DNN 6. So if you just upgrade your DNN to like DNN 8 or 9, and you're still on Smith cart 6, that could break in itself. So upgrade DNN, upgrade your Smith cart, install RazorCart.
Good answers. Good answers.
What is the largest RazorCart or Smith cart implementation in number of products or users, I guess? I mean, I don't care about the name.
Let's do both. So that's a good segue. So Clint was asking, if you couldn't hear him further from the speaker, he was asking, give us some use cases. What's the biggest Smith cart or RazorCart instance that you're familiar with? 4,000 products, 40,000 products, 400,000 products. What's the biggest by number of products and maybe numbers of users or orders or something?
We have a client with a couple 100,000 products running RazorCart. I want to say it's like 225,000, but I could be off a little. As far as users go, the biggest instance I can think of on the user front is actually going to be Smithcart. It's a custom implementation of Smithcart, and it's an online marketplace. It's a marketplace that we have developed for a client. So it's got vendor functionality, capability to have multiple vendors selling in one store, and that attracts a ton of users, and I want to say that they're in the probably 40 to 50,000 user range.
So I've got a good segue off of that to say that everybody's customizing their instances and doing unique or different things. I mean, sure there are common average uses of store systems, but sometimes there's some really interesting things that people will do. Maybe think about what's the most interesting or strange either customization that you've seen of Smithcart or RazorCart, or maybe the most interesting store, somebody that sells bark or something. I don't know. Something interesting, something entertaining that you've seen and thought that comes to mind.
There's been a lot of them over the years. I've been here 7 years almost. Mm-hmm. In 3 months it'll be 7 years. So you can imagine I've seen it all. So what really interests me personally is seeing people who wouldn't. Seeing people who are passionate about something starting their own store. So I kind of favor the smaller guys versus some of the larger clients we have. But I have a client who said, I'm crazy. I'm thinking of starting an online store. And I said, you're not crazy. So I actually helped him set up a popcorn store. He sells gourmet popcorn.
Sure.
Super. I found it super interesting. We have something that I didn't know there was a market for, which is online summer camp supplies for kids that go to summer camp every year. Right. And it's this huge website with thousands of products, summer camp products, customized T-shirts and trunks. And then honorable mention, we have a client that sells rash cream.
All right, go right over there to Mr. Baby Daddy over there, looking for some diaper cream. All right.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of different things done. My favorite are the smaller ones, but we do have an online craft marketplace that uses our software. Seen it all.
Craft marketplace that makes custom lightsabers or something? I don't know. That's very interesting.
I thought craft beer.
I wish.
Yeah, David, some questions you have?
Yeah, so one's not so technical. Under categories, I know you support multiple nested categories, subcategories, and all that good stuff. Can I move a subcategory to another parent category?
Yes.
Excellent. How's performance with complex nested categories? Do you know?
I haven't had any performance issues reported. I mean, most of our clients, will reach out to us. The good thing about RazorCart is that it's lightweight and that it's super fast. But, I mean, I have a gentleman now who sells flags, and he has quite the nest. It's like level, 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 and everything works great. It's beautiful.
Oh, good. That's good enough. Now I've got a little bit more complicated question that I don't know if you know the answer or not. But when it comes to customizing the view sets, I see you have the capability of doing that. But can I build custom models?
Like MODAL, modal?
No, models, M-O-D-E-L-S. So,
Don't
like,
know
okay.
I got a question. A while ago, I saw an import button on the product.
Yep.
Well, do you mind if I finish that one?
Oh, I thought you were done. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so it's MVC based, right?
Yes.
But we only have access to
Yeah.
the view, not the model or the controller. So that's really what I was getting at. The M is for model, C is for controller. Can we customize either of those two, or is it just limited to view sets?
So, Kelly, to ask you that question, or tie into that question, you mentioned a few times that you're able to edit the view sets without having to have the source code, and you're able to work on those directly inside the system, and it looks like that allows for the view set. And so the model part, if it doesn't allow for that, does David have a way to edit the model part of MVC?
Or the controller.
Or the controller.
Or both.
Or does he just do that in the source and then does it in a more traditional way?
You can't.
Not through the interface. Is there a source integration method for that?
Why don't I go grab him and let you ask him?
Sure.
Ta-da! Found him. Okay.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, David,
Can you
how's it
guys hear us?
going? Yeah.
David says, "What have I been brought into?"
He's like, "Whoa, what's going on here?"
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going great. Thanks.
Kelly, yeah. Kelly's giving us a great introduction here, but we're getting to some good technical questions.
Okay.
So got a question on, so we have the ability to modify the view sets. Do we have access to modify the model and or controllers?
The model or the controllers, that is a good question. Hold on one second.
Hold on. The architect.
He's running away.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ask such a hard question.
No, I want to make sure that all of your questions are getting answered by the right people because they're valid questions. They're just, it's okay not to know things, and that's when I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm actually driving to a bigger question here.
Great.
Why should I use RazorCart instead of Hotcakes?
Well,
3 reasons for you right now.
I want to ask her. I want to know, why. I mean, what is the sell? What's the pitch?
Yep.
Okay, so the first pitch on that is going to be that we have been doing e-commerce modules since 2005, 2006. The reason to use us over Hotcakes is going to be we are an active company with an active forum that are actively supporting our project. We're not open source. And are you laughing, Ryan? I see you laughing. Okay, can we go back to, so you guys, I have Wael here, so this is Wael.
Oh, hey, David, we have, here you go, here's a hat. We've got more people here to help answer your question.
Okay, so if you could ask that question one more time.
So, David, you want to?
Yeah, so we have access to modify or customize the view sets for the various views that are in there, but do we have access to create custom controllers and models for those views? Or are we limited to the model that you have there and the controllers that go along with those?
Okay, are we talking about the controller in MVC server side or the controller in JavaScript?
Server side.
Server side. Okay, so
let me ask you, if you want to modify the model, I mean, because typically when we write C# in the view set, we're like accessing properties of the product and the model. So what do you want to do if you want to what are you trying to do to modify the model? Because typically the model is the the properties of like the product. You want to add like a custom.
Yeah. Actually, I just want to create my own custom view, my own custom model, my own custom controller, and be able to plop that in somewhere. I'm assuming the answer is no. There's no way to really do that.
There is a way. Actually,
Okay.
Yeah, you can do it in two ways. You can also declare variables. You don't have to change the model. You can declare variables and write C# code in the view set and just render it. You can change the model. You can create your own class and inherit from the model and then modify it. That's
Okay. Well, I would just do that. There's not really a hook necessarily to do it.
There's not an interface for it in the front end. He'd be doing it.
No, just straightforward C# in the view set.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you can do inheritance. You can even declare variables, call a function in C# and then render them in the HTML view.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you guys for pulling in 2 or 3 heads to help answer a good question.
And to our point earlier, they're just right down the hall. So
they are.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And you know what time is it there for you now, Kelly? It's what 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
5.
So you know it's the end of the workday, and you were able to reach around the corner and grab 2 or 3 people or more to come help answer questions. That's awesome.
We don't stop at 5.
You don't stop
That's
at
true.
5. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, while you got the guys there, ask them the Azure questions.
Oh, so that's a what L question. Can I have what L back?
What is the question?
The question is licensing on Azure. If they buy a server license in the Azure environment, the IP address changes a lot. Web farm?
The server name.
Server name, sorry. Whoops. Azure. So the question is about licensing in the Azure environment where the server name changes, or they might have like 4 server names. If they buy the enterprise license, the server license, do we have a way to handle that other than regenerating the license or just licensing them by domain and out of good faith?
For now, maybe we can use the domain name. But I'll take a look into this and see what I can do.
Okay.
Yeah, because it looks at the machine IDs keep changing.
I understand the domain name would be a way they could handle it. A list of,
They would have to undo that server licensing and go a different route because it would just be too aggravating for them and for the client.
For them to keep up with.
Right.
Manually.
I mean, it's going to change every couple of hours.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we are looking at in the near future rolling out self-service licensing, so it doesn't have to have human intervention. So when we add that into our licensing model, I'm sure I've got geniuses here in my office. I'm sure that we could come up with a way to fix the Azure server license conundrum.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Kelly.
I was going to ask the product import question.
Yeah, so you got a product import question.
I also want to get back to the why this over Hotcakes.
Go ahead,
She started that one, but didn't get finished.
And then Ryan's laughing at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't laughing at you.
I was not laughing at you. Not at all.
You were giving really good, enjoyable answers.
Okay, so am I answering import or am I answering why not hotcakes or why us over hotcakes?
What's your next?
Well, actually, just why RazorCart over Hotcakes.
You gave us 2 really good smackdown bullet points. What are the next ones?
Anybody want to chime in on this? I gave that we've been in the DNN space since 2005, 2006, doing exclusively e-commerce. We know it really well. Dave Smith up there has a background in the payment processing industry, which is kind of what snowballed e-commerce for us. So we have a lot of experience dealing with payments and online payments.
And I would say, just look at the feature set that both have and pick the product that matches your requirements. So if you're working with a client that needs like recurring billing, say, Hotcake doesn't really have recurring billing. We have really good recurring billing. So, I mean, I would look at the feature set. You're working on a project, you're working with a client, look at all his requirements, and then look at Hotcakes and RazorCart side by side and see which one is going to meet those requirements the best, and that's the one I would choose. I mean, they're both, good products, both good companies, and I'd say our support's probably a little bit better just because Hotcakes went open source, but I don't really know that, but I don't know. Is it Will? And you guys, what's the support like on Hotcakes right now? I know it's Will. We're the forum. on the website.
Handlebot, third-party company.
Yeah, that's both good questions there, right? So those are really good answers, and we've enjoyed kind of batting them around. But let's hit to another couple of product questions.
Yeah, I was just on the product import.
Product import and product export. Let's take a look at that product import screen there.
So what formats are you importing from?
Yep.
JSON, Excel.
Yeah, the CSV. So our import and export is all CSV.
When you're doing import, you're bringing in all the product data that you can. You're also able to bulk import pictures and process those as well, or is that a separate process?
Yeah, so the way that the pictures work is you'll import the image name, but you have to get the images up to the server either via FTP or copying them some way. The CSV import doesn't automatically copy images, so it's a two-step. All your data in a CSV, and then you have the image name, that imports, and then you just need to bulk copy the images to a predefined folder on your server.
Yeah, it's into the right folder. That makes perfect sense. Okay, well, you're kind of bringing up an example of one of the exports there. All right.
So the best way to import is to export from your store, maybe create a test product, and then match the format and re-import.
Yep.
We don't generally recommend using Excel for your CSV because Excel has a funny way of converting numbers to scientific notation or adding things where things are not. Yep. Using something maybe like Notepad++ would be better. I don't have that on this machine, but yeah, just an example, and you could turn around and import this the exact same way, and it would do an update for the existing products or add products that are not there currently.
Excellent. Are you able to do bulk update with the import system as well?
Yeah, so you'd export, update all the data, and then re-import it and update the product record.
Just wanted to make sure I hadn't missed that. That's good. Mm-hmm. Excellent.
And the hotcakes versus RazorCart thing, I would just a couple more thoughts on that. We just released a QuickBooks extension. So I think we probably have a few more extensions than Hotcakes has as far as gateways and ERP packages.
Gateways for sure.
And RazorCart's a few years newer than Hotcakes. And yeah, so the technology is a little newer. We use I know Hotcakes uses Knockout. We use Angular, which I think is a little bit more desirable. And we're Angular and Web API, which I think is a little newer than what Hotcakes is built on. So that's just a couple more things when you guys are deciding.
Yeah, I shared the fun story, David, when we got started that when Dustin talked with you for a few minutes at DNN Summit, he was really excited about database structure and database setup, and you have IDs for products and IDs for records and tables. That's an excellent way to look for things.
I forgot about that. So yeah, I think our database is a little superior. They use GUIDs for some of the primary keys, which is not.
GUIDs for primary keys? Who picks GUIDs for? No.
That's not the way to model a database. So you're going to run into some problems with that, but. So our database, I think, is a little bit more robust and modeled properly.
Well, I want to take us around to some other kind of general questions here for a moment, and we're really wrapping up kind of the presentation. So, Kelli, we kind of interrupted and started asking questions, but if you had anything else that you wanted to get into, feel free to bring it in. I wanted to put to you the question a little bit about the industry, a little bit stepping back, not product specific, but things you see coming up ahead for e-commerce, DNN instances that have e-commerce, whether it's your store system or otherwise, rules, regulations, security concerns that are coming up ahead that you need to change.
GDPR.
What came to mind for me was the need for everyone to update their SSL certificates based on who they have previously, and a need to I keep checking over to make sure, because I think Baby Daddy Clint over here is going to fall asleep in like 2 seconds. Kelly, things ahead in the industry, maybe either changes in security or regulations that you might want to describe to folks.
Yeah, so you briefly touched on that TLS nightmare that everybody just had. It was like a bad dream.
Not over. I mean, most people didn't even realize that it occurred, and they're still having to catch up and get their SSL certificates updated. Yeah, so because we do integrate with Authorize.net, they were the first ones to change. PayPal is up and coming. Transaction Central is up and coming. Everybody has not changed yet, so you're correct that is ongoing. But Authorize.net was a big one for us. February 28th rolled around, and the phone was ringing nonstop. So with that being said, a lot of clients thought that updating their SSL was enough. It turned out that wasn't enough, because we actually integrate with their API ourselves. So the module also needed to be updated. So yeah, up and coming is just going to be a lot more of the same once PayPal changes, which is coming in June. Transaction Central is coming next month. All the major payment gateways are moving that direction. And I mean, up and coming for e-commerce as a whole, I mean, we're all seeing it. Amazon is taking over. E-commerce is getting bigger, and I think with bigger, that will require some more regulations as far as security, hosting, and PCI. So everybody just needs to make sure that they're up to date, they're paying attention to the notices that either their hosting company or their payment processor is sending over, and staying on top of it. A lot of people want an e-commerce solution that they can just set it and forget it, which is great. And once you have the software functioning, that's the case until something industry-wide changes, and there will be maintenance required. So just
Yeah, I'd say another one is omni-channel, so inventory management on multiple marketplaces. So if I sell on my DNN site, and then I also want to sell on Amazon
and eBay,
Walmart, and then managing that inventory centrally, we've integrated with a product called Tiaplex that handles that. So I think that's, anybody who's serious about selling these days is going to want to sell on Amazon as well as their own website. And they need one central place to manage that inventory. And yeah, we can handle that. So that's one of the big things that's definitely been popping up a lot lately. And we do a lot of ERP integrations, so Epicor and Dynamics and QuickBooks.
SAP.
Yeah, we just released that new QuickBooks extension, so we actually have that out of the box. And then just staying up on all the latest payment trends, because the way that you pay is changing. We're working on some POS solutions. We have a few clients that have brick and mortars that want to take orders in their store and then on the web and have all those orders centralized. So having a solution with a POS is or the ability to take the chip transactions or card present transactions as well as online orders.
So that's kind of a good thing of things to pay attention to and things that are coming up. Then the other variation of that same question is, what's some things that you're excited about that are coming ahead? Either things that you're rolling out soon enough with RazorCart, or other things industry or even DNN-wide that you're looking forward to.
Yeah, I told you guys we're really excited about all of the new booking functionality that we are building out for one of our clients. It's going to make great improvements to the module, and I really do feel like it'll be a really robust booking solution out there for DNN. We'd love to do a demo on it. Dave would be your guy.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm excited about the POS stuff that we have. We're working on a solution where you can actually use your website to take card present transactions. So that's a pretty cool technology there.
I've seen people bend to do that, and having something that is intended for it would be pretty neat to show off.
Yeah, because if you have a separate point of sale application from your website, then you have to figure out how to keep the data in sync. But if you can do orders on the web and in brick and mortar from the same system, then you're golden. You don't have to do any data sync.
The only thing I'll throw out there is that in experience, you have mixed situations in storefronts where they may be able to connect to a credit card processor, but they don't have internet connection in a store or at a countertop, so they can't actually run the website. So when you're talking about POS, are you also talking about maybe a kind of siloed POS that then has nightly backup and transaction updates or something?
Yeah, that's a good point. Definitely offline processing, if you lose the internet connection, is important. So the ability to batch. Yeah, and it's really no different if you have like a a hypercom terminal in a store. If you lose your connectivity, then you just need a way to, because the regular terminals that they have in the store are connected too, and they need to get off. So the ability to do offline offs or take the credit cards, store them, and then do them in batch later when you get your internet back.
Awesome. I think one of the last questions that floated around was talking about the future going ahead. This is a brand new offering. RazorCart is brand new and it's recently built. What do you guys think about, or what's your sketch of a roadmap ahead for moving to newer .NET Core?
So that's a good one, and we're kind of waiting to see what DNN is going to be doing, because we really can't come up with a solution until we know what the strategy is from DNN. So if DNN is going to develop a brand new DNN that's uses .NET Core, or are they going to upgrade the current DNN so that it supports .NET Core? I don't know. We were just all at that conference, and that's an open question, I think, is how DNN is going to handle the .NET Core. But we'll be on top of it once they announce that.
So one thing I would say is the they there has become we. So we would love for you guys to have some representation in the technology advisory group, because it's no longer we're waiting to see what they do, right?
If you got an opinion and you want it to go a certain direction because it works for you better, you can chime in.
Because it's now at that critical point where there's a lot of conversation going on, a lot of decisions potentially being made soon. So it would be great to have your expertise and
history
input in that. Yeah.
It'd be nice to have it backward compatible. I'm sure all the module developers are kind of in the same boat. If they develop a brand new DNN in .NET Core that doesn't support any of the old modules, that we're looking at redeveloping. So any kind of DNN that supports .NET Core that's backward compatible I'd be definitely on board with that and voting for that. That doesn't require a full redevelop. I know there's going to be some, development to work in .NET Core, but the question is how much. So I would love to see the backward compatibility, but I'm definitely all for DNN on .NET Core. I think we have to do it if we're going to have, new people in the community and people that are going to be excited about DNN. We can't have DNN on 10-year-old technology on web forms. It's got to be on .NET Core to go into the future here.
Good news is you've chosen MVC as a route. So even though the DNN MVC as it exists now is not pure MVC, at least you're pretty close.
Yeah, you're positioned to move well.
Yeah, to be able to move well. So I can about guarantee that any move to .NET Core is going to be MVC based, right? So may also have some other options. Like I think one of the things presented recently was a potential Razor Pages module type, maybe even in the existing DNN that would be .NET Core based. That would be interesting because that would allow some of the web form users, right, to transition a little bit easier than moving to full MVC or SPA based kind of development. So.
Everybody, it's 8:15. We are heading up to the end of the meeting here. Kelli, we'll give you last words if you want to kind of wrap up or encourage people to come connect with you. Where can they find you, and how can they reach out to you if they need a hand?
Yeah, so thanks for having me, you guys.
Thanks, David.
Thanks, Matt.
This was fun. I was probably a little nervous, but I do appreciate you guys having me. Everyone can connect with me on LinkedIn. Funny, so at Summit, you brought to my attention that we had not switched over our Twitter to RazorCart. So that change was made yesterday, so reach out to us on Twitter. I'm going to try and get better at tweeting. I've never really used Twitter before, so it'll be a fun experiment. And, you know, I'm looking forward to next year's DNN Summit. So I think that's all well and good. Oh, and we have a 15-day free trial. I forgot to say that earlier.
Oh, we missed that. We were already thinking about where we were going to be for DNN Summit. What about a free trial?
We have a 15-day free trial on RazorCart. You have the ability to install, configure, and test, as well as set up all of your products. When your trial is over, you don't have to lose all of your data. You just have to plug in a license key. So all stays.
Very, 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 very nice. Thank you. Well, Kelli, thanks for joining us. This has been, of course, a RazorCart presentation from Smith Consulting. If you'll bring me back to screen, David, then I will bring up a couple of things, and we'll talk about next meetings and you know, show a couple of these things here. All right. All right. So as we mentioned before, we've been talking with Kelli from Smith Consulting. That's smith-consulting.com, and you can find information there. This is where you can also find the support and the knowledge-based type information that she was showing at different points. Within the store, of course, you have RazorCart on you know, the store, DNN store. I was about to call it snow covered.
I still do.
And the pricing for the licenses is there, with that standard license being $495 for one live domain and then one testing domain, and then right under $3,000 per server instance. So that's multiple DNN instances all on one server by server name. Want to go ahead and you know, bring back the discussion now, or you know, the point now to mention our next DNN user group meeting, in which we're going to have Andrew and here we go. Andrew and Mike coming in to present to us. So we've got a double header next time, and that is April the 19th. So April the 19th is the third Thursday. We'll be meeting again at 6:30 to run through those things. Until then, if you have questions and you want to get them out to us, you can hit us up on Twitter. You can send email to info@southernpridednn.com. We are always looking for speakers. We're looking for topics. If you've got something you want to know about, feel that you're the right person to talk about it, let us know some topics and some ideas. I'll also refresh the question that I'd like to have people send us questions, things that they have asked but they want more information on or have a presentation on. We're collecting those questions, and we'll put them together in one user group meeting where we answer a bunch of questions for people, but two, we'll pull in the right experts to help answer those questions and get some good talking heads in here to help give us some answers. David, Clint, do you guys have anything else you want to close out the meeting with?
I'll just say good job, Kelli.
Yeah, good job. Thank you very much, Kelli.
Thank you.
Second time being on with us as a speaker, presenter, or board person answering questions.
Well, she's kind of become a regular for
she is.
online,
so
right?
She says she's nervous about it, but she's a regular here. So anyways, thank you very much, everybody. We will see you online, and we will see you next month, April the 19th. Thanks very much.